Hi, this is Malachi.
And Christine.
Thank you so much for tuning into our show. We have an awesome show just for you, and you. Be sure to share this podcast with your friends and your family. We know they'll be blessed as well. And without any further ado, here's tonight's podcast.
Welcome to the Malachi and Christine Show. Get ready to hear uplifting and empowering topics, as well as soul-stirring Christian music to get you through your week. Right here on the Malachi and Christine Show. Our mission is to help others live, hope, and change using God's Word as our foundation. The Bible says in John chapter 15, verse 7, "If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you." Our mission scripture is found in Luke chapter 4, verses 18 and 19. And now, here are your hosts, Malachi and Christine.
Welcome to the Malachi and Christine Show. Appreciate you guys coming in again. I'm in the studio alone by myself, a solo act tonight because my lovely wife, Christine, has to work again. And we have to carry on, men. If the women can't be with us, they're with us in spirit, rooting us on. She's definitely rooting me on. Last week, we started a new series, Why Married Men Really Cheat. And this is part 2. I want to give you the theme of our show. And it's love in relationships. That's our theme. But I wanted to go back where we left off last week, talking about the factors behind why certain men cheat. And I gave you a list of factors that Dr. Wise, it was an article I read in Psychology Today, of some of the quote unquote common reasons as to why married men cheat. Because Dr. Wise says that a man's choice to cheat is driven by one or more of the following factors. So as I read them off again, see how many resonate with you. On this list is immaturity, co-occurring issues, insecurity, it's over, version 1. It's over, version 2. Lack of male social support, childhood abuse, selfishness, terminal uniqueness, unrestrained impulse, unrealistic expectations. And the last one, anger and revenge. Let's look at the first one, immaturity. He says, apparently there is not a lot of experience here in committed relationships. He does not understand that his actions will inevitably have some negative consequences when thinking it's okay to have sexual adventures. Monogamy is not a coat you can slip on and take off, depending on the circumstances, as you see fit. And I say stability in this is the key in every relationship. I don't know what the standard of experiences are or should be in order to have a committed relationship. This is something that is ongoing, on learning, but immaturity, when I think about immaturity, I think about far as a man acting like a child, acting childish, hasn't grown up. But he's saying that there's immaturity here because there's not a lot of experience with a committed relationship. So he can't commit himself to one woman. This is why he has sexual adventures. He's constantly going out, trying to find something to fulfill his want and desire. And apparently his wife is not the one that can do that for him. And so there's a level of immaturity here of him being faithful to his woman. And you have to be level-headed. You have to be stable in your relationship in order for a committed relationship to really work. Number 2, I'm just going to hit these briefly because these are conversation starters. These are conversation triggers to get you to talk about some of this within your relationship. Talk to your man. See where his maturity level is. Number 2, co-occurring issues. In this, he may be having an ongoing problem with alcohol or drugs, or perhaps even both. And these will affect his decision-making when it could result in a regrettable sexual decision. A lot of the things that men do is based on, it may be a chemical imbalance because it's chemically induced by alcohol or drugs. But I've never been that intoxicated or drug induced that I didn't know who I was laying in bed with. That mistake was always made with a somewhat clear head. But the jury is still out on being clear-headed or not in that situation. Maybe he has a problem with sexual addiction. This is compulsively engaging in sexual fantasies, and it's a way to numb out life or to avoid it altogether. Or maybe it's an addiction to porn, which is really beyond me why anyone enjoys watching other people engaging in sexual acts that no one in their right minds could possibly do. That's something that never was exciting to me. I never was into porn. I never wanted to watch porn. I had no desires to watch porn. But there are plenty of Christian married men secretly addicted to porn. And I still don't know, and I still don't understand how this could be kept a secret. Don't spouses check bank accounts nowadays? Don't they check the checkbook? And porn, happy to say, well, like I said, was never something I was interested in. I didn't indulge in Hustler magazine or Penthouse. It just didn't appeal to me. However, I did have a vice, y'all. The vice that I had was Victoria's Secret. Oh, I loved me some Victoria's Secret back in the day. That was my favorite magazine. Nothing more than an upscale soft Playboy with clothes. That's all it is. So men, if you are one of those that think it's okay to stare at Victoria's Secrets, fooling yourselves into thinking it's okay because you're looking for something nice for your wife, now you truly are immature. So go on and find those Victoria's Secret books under your bed and throw them out. Let your wife give her some money and let her go buy her own Victoria's Secrets. Number 3, insecurity. So many things I find in life can trigger one into feeling insecure. And if you've never been a part of a relationship where a person is insecure, woo, Lord, you really don't want to be a part of a relationship where a person is insecure. It is not pleasant. We've all experienced some level of insecurity in our lives, whether we're too old, too young, not handsome enough, not fit enough, not tall enough, not rich enough, not good enough, not smart enough, not light enough, not dark enough, not big enough. Let me know when I'm getting to your block. Many men deal with midlife crisis by cheating. So instead of seeking his wife for validation, he seeks it from another woman. So what he is doing is fueling the sextra circular spark of interest to feel desired, to feel wanted, and to even feel worthy, to bolster the flag-waving ego. I really thought I was a secure man back in the day. I really did. But I soon learned that that was not accurate. I wasn't as secure as I thought I was. And even today, I still have some issues with not being good enough, not being fit enough, not being rich enough yet. And I say yet because I'm working on some things. Never stop dreaming and planning. Because the day you stop dreaming and reaching for better, you cease to exist. So constantly reach for better, men, women. Continue to reach for more. My wife has helped me a lot with many of my insecurities. That's why I love her so much, because she lets me be me, and she loves me for me. That makes it easy to want to be loved and to love when someone loves you for you. It's filling that person's love tank. We need to learn how to fill our wives' love tank or our spouse's love tank, and learn how to fill it every single day. And if you don't know how, pick up a copy of Dr. Gary Chapman's book, 5 Love Languages. That's a great book to learn what your love languages are and what your spouse's love languages are. Number 4, it's over, version 1. You ever been told it's over? Have you ever told someone it's over? In this version, he may want to end his current relationship. But instead of just telling his partner like a man that he's unhappy and just break it off, he cheats and forces her to do all the dirty work. And I'm going to tell you, pain is a devil's monster, because pain causes us to stay in a relationship that are harmful and destructive, all because we don't want to hurt their feelings. Really? But the relationship has been over. Feelings are being hurt on a regular. We're about to go into the ring and start throwing blows, but we don't want to tell the other person it's time to part ways. So you rather go out and find another cheater or an unsuspecting victim. And then she finds out about it. And what's going to happen? 1, she throws you out. Or 2, she trashes your stuff and then leaves. That's version 1. It's over, version 2 says. In this version, he just wants out. And he wants it so bad to end. But not until he's securely locked in another candidate. So the plan now is to set the stage for his next love interest while he is still involved in his current relationship. While he's out there, he's surveying the land, seeing who's out there, who's available, and who's good enough or looks good. So he starts interviewing new hopefuls. All the while his spouse is at home, not suspecting anything, until one day, poof, he's gone. These are just brief. I don't want to get into it because we'll be here a while. So I'm just giving you some highlights of these. Number 6, lack of male social support. I have to say, as a man, it is very important to have trusted friends that you can spend time with to help keep you straight. Men that are real men. And the problem is many men undervalue their need for supportive friendships with other men. They don't think any of that's important. I don't need to talk to another man. What do I need to talk to another man for? I'm good. I don't need no help. See, that's what we need to get from being so prideful. We need someone we can trust and talk to. And I'm not talking about those men that are single and want to hang out at the booty club. But I'm talking about those men that are also married and their relationship is strong with their wife. But you can't expect your social and emotional needs to be entirely met by your spouse. She is there to help, yes. But just like she has her trusted girlfriends, you as well need to connect with other men for strength, especially those men that are biblically sound. You need to have men that are spiritually wise. They have spiritual wisdom and discernment that they can sit you down and talk with you and reason with you and give you wisdom and discernment on what options are available to you. being that some men put so much stock in their wives to meet their social and emotional needs that when she fails to accomplish this, the one thing that should never happen happens. He seeks other women to fulfill that need. That's why it's important for men to have strong social support from other men. Men's group. Those are important. And we'll be back right after this. Welcome back. Let's continue with number 7, childhood abuse. There could be some unresolved childhood trauma that he may be reenacting or responding to, such as neglect or physical abuse, emotional abuse, and yes, even sexual abuse. These are issues that many people, both men and women, have to deal with later on in their lives. All because some adult did not protect their innocence and allowed them to be violated, or were the ones that did the violating. Sadly, men have hidden and suppressed trauma that causes and creates attachment and intimacy issues, and it leaves them unwilling and unable to fulfill a commitment with just one person. That's why you see certain men with different women every week, every month. It's somebody new. It's the new flavor of the week, new flavor of the month. Because they're unable and they're unwilling to commit fully to one person. Now, hear me on this. This is not just the men, but as you will hear on another podcast that I'm working on, is why married women really cheat. This trauma is something that both men and women are suffering with. And as one of the responses I got from my Facebook page says, men cheat for excitement. Men use the excitement and distraction of sexual infidelity as a way to self-smooth the pain of the unhealed wounds of his past, burying himself into as many different women as he can, not realizing that when he buries himself into a woman, he is now linked to her spirit. So women, you're not only having to deal with his spirit, but now you have to deal with the spirits of the women he has had sex with. They call that soul ties. You don't understand. Soul ties are dangerous. Soul ties happen when you have sex with someone else outside of marriage. That person is linked to you. And then you wonder why you acting crazy. Because you got all those different spirits dwelling inside of you of all the people you slept with. Ooh. Number 8. Selfishness. How often have you heard, you're so selfish? You don't care about anyone but yourself. I used to hear that a lot. Oh my God. It wasn't until I grew up that I understood for real, what they were talking about. Women want to know what a man will add to her. When he comes into her equation or is allowed to enter in, she wants to know if he can be true to her and to her only. And some men, their primary consideration is for himself and himself alone. As long as he can keep secrets and lie without any remorse or regret, he knows he can get whatever it is that he wants. Because he never intended on being in a monogamous relationship anyway. That's too much of a sacrifice that he's not willing to make. Because a commitment is something that a selfish man will avoid and work around. Now, I know this sounds like Bash the Man's show, but this is not Bash the Man's show. Trust me, women, your turn is coming. You have to pay attention to the signs. You have to pay attention to the clues, the hints The little aha moments. Is he all about himself? Number 9, terminal uniqueness. This is a good one. This is where the usual rules in a relationship don't apply to him. He thinks he's above the rules. He feels like he is different and deserves something special that other men might not. This type of attitude makes him feel he is free to reward himself outside of his primary relationship with his wife whenever he wants to, which is totally off base. Which brings us to the next quote unquote common reason a married man might cheat on his wife. Number 10, unrestrained impulse. All of a sudden, not thinking about cheating, never thought about cheating, and then up pops an unscripted opportunity that presents itself. Don't know what I'm talking about? Let me set the stage for you. He's out on the front yard cutting the grass. And let's say he's shirtless. It's hot. Summertime. Well, unbeknown to him, his neighbor's wife is in the window watching him. He looks thirsty. Sweat beads up and starts to drip down his chest. So what does she do? She comes outside and offers him a nice big glass of cold lemonade. Why does it always have to be lemonade, ladies? Is that the country in y'all? I got some nice lemonade. I know, it's just summertime and lemonade is the national drink of the day. He sees her and they exchange a brief, friendly, and inviting smile. He stops and shuts off the lawnmower, walks over to the edge of the yard and hops the low brick wall separating the 2 yards. They greet each other with a friendly hello. She says, I made some lemonade. Would you care for some? I see you're working up a good sweat out in that hot sun. How would you even know unless you've been peeping this brother out all this time? Now, mind you, his wife and her husband are still at work. And after some small talk, she then politely invites him inside to cool off. Then, without even thinking about what infidelity might do not only to his relationship, but hers as well, he goes inside. Oh, I wish I could work with this a little while longer, but I have to move on. I'm going to let you marinate on that for a little while. Unrestrained impulse. I just want to give you some highlights, ladies and gentlemen, because we would be here a while if I would unpack each one of these. So I just want to give you just a taste of quote unquote common reasons as to why a married man would cheat on his wife. Number 11, unrealistic expectations. When you started to date, did you ever ask what their expectations are in the relationship? Have they ever asked you what your expectations are in a relationship? Here, he may start to feel that his partner should meet his every desire and whim, sexually and otherwise, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, regardless to how his wife feels at any particular time. She might say, I don't feel up to it tonight. And he might say, well, how does your mouth feel? So now the attention is right back on what he wants and when he wants it. He fails to understand that she has a life of her own with thoughts, needs, and feelings that don't always involve him or pleasing him whenever he wants to be pleased physically. And then when his expectations are not met, what does he do? He seeks the fulfillment elsewhere, outside of his marriage. What expectations should you have in your relationship in order to have a happy balance? My dad used to say, when I got married for the first time, He would tell us in counseling, headaches are not a good reason not to come together. You can work that headache out and she can sleep well that night. He said, work that headache out. And headache is not a good excuse not to have sex with your husband. You can work that headache out. There are times, more often than not, when the wife will not feel like pleasing her husband. So is it wrong to ask her to just fulfill her wifely responsibility because he is her husband? That's an interesting question. Now, if you were to listen to my daughter's new podcast, her podcast is called Spiced Wife. You just might learn a few things in pleasing your man, even when you're not feeling up to it. You need to look into that. www.spicedwife.com. That's SPICEDWIFE. Spicedwife.com. Check that out. In a few short months, she already has over 40,000 listeners, well surpassing that of her daddy. But I'm not salty. I'm not mad at her. I'm loving it because she's addressing a much needed topic that deals with sex and the church. Because women all over the world are hungry for that type of ministry. They want to know how they can please their husband and still be saved, how they can please their husband and not feel guilty because of what the church says. Woo, let me leave that alone. The last, quote unquote, common reason a married man cheats on his wife. Number 12, anger, revenge. This is something that I used to do purposely just so I can have an excuse to bounce. Now what I do when I get a little upset, if I leave, I go to the church and I lay before God, not some woman eager to fulfill my needs. See, that's the difference in today's man and yesterday's man, like I said in the last episode, because today's man runs to God, not to some other woman. God fulfills all my needs and I have no regrets. The man may cheat to get revenge because he's hurting, so now he wants her to hurt. This action of infidelity is meant to be known and it's meant to be seen. He doesn't care. He doesn't lie about it or he doesn't keep it a secret. He doesn't keep his cheating a secret now because his anger has turned into revenge. And all he wants to do now is for her to find out about it and to suffer. This has long-term effects, ladies and gentlemen. Long-term effects. You don't do anything through anger. You don't do anything to have revenge. You might be hurting, yes, but revenge is not the answer. Getting back at the person is not the answer. You can read dozens of reasons why married men cheat on their wives, and there really isn't a single factor that drives him to cheat, as in this list. These are some worldview as why married men would cheat on their wives. But regardless of his true reason for cheating on his wife, reality from a first natural and then spiritual point of view says he did not have to do it. He didn't have to cheat. There are always choices that don't involve cheating. There are always choices that don't involve degrading and potentially destroying his marriage. There are always choices that don't involve destroying his integrity and the life he and his wife has created, and one that God could bless. There are always choices. I find when learning and knowing why a married man would cheat on his wife, it can be a helpful tool in not repeating the behavior in the future. At least you would hope it is. But because we're sinful beings, things have a tendency of repeating itself. But until you get to a point of allowing God to heal your heart and allowing God to deliver you from that vice, you're going to always have a tendency to repeat those past problems. Deliverance is key. Healing is key. Allowing God to heal your heart is key. These are some of the world views as to why married men cheat on their wives. But as I look up the clock, y'all, again, it's saying that's all. Oh, I hate to stop right here, but I have to stop, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, we're going to look at it from a spiritual view. No matter how you size it up, cheating is biblically unacceptable. I'm Malachi, and on behalf of my beautiful wife, Christine, until next time, bye for now. This concludes another episode of the Malachi and Christine Show. We look forward to spending time with you again real soon. Remember to love God, love yourself, and love others.